Have you ever felt lost, unsure which path to take in your career? Zach was exactly in that position until he discovered a surprising solution that's transforming lives in record time. In this video, you'll follow Zach's journey and the incredible wisdom of Monk Jin, who helped him find clarity and purpose amidst the chaos. Get ready for a different and powerful approach that could completely change the way you view your future. Stay until the end and find out how to apply this same technique to your own life, starting today. Zach is sitting on his bed, his gaze lost on the computer screen in front of him. The blue light reflects in his tired eyes as he scrolls through job listings, one after another, without enthusiasm. His fingers type, but his mind is far away. He's just graduated, the diploma still fresh in his hands, which should mark the beginning of a great adventure. But instead of feeling the freedom of a young adult about to conquer the world, Zach feels trapped, as if the future is pushing him into a cage. Images of old dreams flood his mind. He sees himself working at something he loves, transforming lives, feeling proud of the impact he would have on the world. But reality is harsh. The jobs he finds are limited, bureaucratic, soulless, a path that feels completely opposed to his passion and talent. He thinks of his family and friends, all expecting him to follow the right path, to find stability, a good salary, and settle into a solid career. The pressure is suffocating. Zach has already sent out dozens of resumes, gone through several interviews, but nothing feels right. The responses he gets when they come offer jobs that make him feel empty just thinking about them. Jobs with no connection to his purpose, which he would only consider for financial security. And this conflict consumes him. Should he accept a job just for the money or fight to find something he loves, even without any guarantees of success? The fear of failure and the urgency to prove himself gnaw away at his confidence. At night, anxiety keeps him from sleeping. His thoughts are jumbled, and he finds himself trapped in an endless cycle of doubts and regrets. One day, talking with an old friend, he shares his frustrations. The friend listens attentively and, after a long silence, suggests something unexpected. Why don't you look for Monk Jin? They say he helps people find clarity and direction when they're lost. Zach laughs, skeptical. A monk? But seeing the serious look in his friend's eyes, he realizes this might be his last chance to find some answers. After many nights of indecision, Zach finally decides to seek out Monk Jin, hopeful that maybe, just maybe, he'll find a way out of the fog that obscures his future. The sun is setting when Zach finally arrives at the temple. The place is serene, secluded, surrounded by tall trees whose leaves dance with the gentle breeze. A small stone path leads to the entrance of the temple, where Monk Jin waits, calmly seated on a cushion. He is a middle-aged man, with eyes that seem to see beyond the surface, and a faint smile that radiates tranquility. As Zach approaches, the monk makes a gentle gesture with his hand, inviting him to sit. Zach sits down with a tense posture, his shoulders stiff from the weight of his worries. The feeling of being there, outside his comfort zone, makes him uneasy. Unsure of where to begin, he looks down at the ground, the words stuck in his throat. Monk Jin simply observes, silent, his presence welcoming, as if knowing the right words will eventually find their way. Finally, Zach begins to speak. He talks about his recent graduation, the dreams he had when he first entered university, and how invincible he felt imagining the future. But as he continues, his tone changes. He describes the job market as a maze with no way out, filled with job offers that have nothing to do with what he loves. He speaks of his fears. I feel lost. And this feeling of having no direction, it terrifies me. I thought everything would be different when I finished college. I thought my purpose would be waiting for me, but all I find are meaningless jobs. The monk listens attentively, never interrupting, just nodding slowly, indicating he understands. After a long pause, Monk Jin finally speaks, his voice soft and calm. Tell me, Zach, what are you seeking in your career? Why do these job offers seem empty to you? Zach falls silent, thinking, I want to do something that makes sense. I want to wake up in the morning excited to go to work, feeling like I'm contributing to something bigger, something that makes a difference. But all I see are jobs that just have no soul. The monk smiles slightly, as if he was expecting this answer. What is this something bigger then? What is the difference you wish to make? And why is it so important to you that all other options seem lifeless? These questions catch Zack off guard. He realizes he's never really stopped to think about it. He always assumed that making a difference meant something obvious, but maybe it wasn't that simple. He tries to formulate an answer, but the words escape him. All he can say is, "I don't know. I've never really thought about it. I don't want to live a life without purpose." The monk leans slightly forward, and Zack feels as though Jin is trying to see beyond his words, as if searching for something deeper within him. Purpose is a word many seek, but few understand. Is what you're searching for something you need to find out there, or in here? He places his hand over his own chest. Silence hangs in the air. Zack feels challenged, as if standing before a mirror reflecting parts of himself he has always tried to ignore. The monk's words resonate, and for the first time in a long while, Zack feels that perhaps his doubts are leading him towards something bigger, something he has yet to discover. The gentle breeze caresses Zack's face as he sits, reflecting on the monk's words. Monk Jin remains serene, allowing the silence to speak for itself. Finally, the monk breaks the silence with a question, soft as the wind. "Zack, tell me, has there ever been a moment in your life when you felt whole? A time when, even for just a brief instant, you felt you were exactly where you were meant to be?" Zack thinks deeply. Memories begin to bubble up in his mind, small sparks of happiness he had almost forgotten. He recalls an afternoon at university when he organized a discussion circle about social causes, bringing people together to share ideas on how to make the world a better place. The passion in his words, the sparkle in the participants' eyes, the shared energy, he felt alive. Another memory flashes, helping a friend create a fundraising campaign for an NGO. He spent hours working without noticing the time pass, as if he were immersed in something that truly mattered. He looks at the monk and begins to speak, his eyes fixed on the emptiness, as if he could see these memories before him. "Yes, there were a few moments, like when I organized debates on important issues. I felt like I was creating something valuable, something that inspired people. Or when I worked on social projects, it was like I was flowing with what I truly believed in." Monk Jin listens intently, his eyes closed, as if absorbing every word, feeling the essence of what Zack is sharing. "Those moments? What did they have in common, Zack? What made you lose track of time and feel so fulfilled?" Zack reflects for a few seconds, taking a deep breath. "I think it was because I was doing something that felt like it really mattered. I wasn't thinking about money or whether it was a secure job. All that mattered was being part of something meaningful, something bigger than myself." The monk smiles, as if seeing the pieces of a puzzle coming together. Sometimes what we seek has been with us all along, hidden in the things we do effortlessly, in the moments when the heart finds rest and the mind finds focus. These memories you shared are like invisible threads connecting you to something deeper within yourself. Perhaps your purpose isn't something far away out there, but a small flame that already burns inside, waiting for you to recognize it. A shiver runs down Zack's spine. These memories, which he had treated as fleeting moments, now appear as clues to something greater, something he had always been seeking but never knew how to name. It's as if, for a brief moment, the clouds obscuring his mind part, revealing a glimpse of a clearer path. Monk Jin continues, his voice soft like a song. "Zack, if you could capture the essence of those moments, what do you believe you would be creating for the world? And more importantly, for yourself?" Zack doesn't answer immediately, but for the first time, instead of feeling lost, he feels a small spark of hope. Something inside him seems to be waking up. Zack is deep in thought, the monk's words echoing in his mind like gentle waves on a lake. He feels he's nearing something important, but he still can't fully grasp it. Monk Jin observes the young man's restlessness and unhurriedly stands up, signaling for Zack to follow him. The two walk toward the back of the temple, where a small stream runs between rocks and vegetation. The sound of the running water is soothing. Monk Jin crouches near the stream, and with a gentle motion, he creates small ripples in the water, watching the current follow its course. Zack stands beside him in silence, waiting for what's to come. The monk points to the river and begins to speak, his voice soft and full of meaning. "Zack, have you ever noticed how water always finds its way? Even when there are rocks in its path, The river keeps flowing, winding around obstacles, finding new directions to move forward. It doesn't rush, it doesn't fight the stones. It simply follows its course, knowing it will reach its destination. Zack watches the water, trying to grasp what the monk means. He sees the river flowing, calm and steady, navigating around the rocks, sometimes forming small waterfalls, sometimes passing through narrow stretches. The metaphor begins to take shape in his mind, but he still can't fully understand. Monk Jin continues, pointing to a simple bridge that crosses the stream. It's an old wooden bridge, slightly unstable, creaking with every stronger gust of wind. This bridge, Zack, is like the easy path you're considering. It's a quick crossing, an apparent solution to reach the other side, but it's unstable, fragile. It might take you to your destination, but it could also collapse halfway. And once you commit to crossing it, your steps must be careful. Because one careless move might be enough to bring you down. Zack feels the weight of the monk's words. He looks at the bridge and imagines himself crossing it, the feeling of uncertainty, the risk of falling. He realizes that his anxiety about choosing an easy path just for the immediate comfort might actually be a crossing filled with risks. The bridge may seem like the solution to his dilemma, but is it really the right path? The monk turns to Zack, his gaze deep and wise. Like the flowing river, you too have choices. You can try to navigate around your obstacles, finding a safer path, even if it takes longer. Or you can choose to cross this bridge, risking losing your balance in the process. The choice is always yours. But remember, the river doesn't choose its course in haste. It takes its time, knowing that every bend, every obstacle, is part of its journey. Zack stands still, staring at the water flowing beneath the bridge. Something inside him begins to shift, as if the metaphor is slowly settling into his mind and soul. He understands that the easy path isn't always the right one, and that sometimes moving at your own pace, even if it takes longer, is the best way to find true direction. He feels that the monk's metaphor is a truth that needs to be absorbed, reflected upon, before it can take shape in his life. The sky begins to change color, the orange and pink hues of the sunset reflecting on the calm waters of the stream. Zack remains there, watching the river follow its course, winding around obstacles, flowing with patience. He thinks about the unstable bridge, the easy path he had considered taking. Monk Jin's words echo within him, and he feels a mix of unease and clarity, as if he's finally seeing the essence of the dilemma he's facing. Monk Jin turns to Zack, his gaze calm and full of understanding. Zack, sometimes we become so obsessed with finding a quick path that we forget to take in the scenery around us. We forget that by walking slowly, we can choose where to step, find the firmest trail, and see opportunities that were once hidden in the shadows of our haste. Zack reflects, and his mind starts to clear. He realizes he spent so much time trying to find a job that seemed right in the eyes of others that he never stopped to ask himself what was right for him. He remembers the experiences that made him feel alive, debates, social projects, moments of genuine connection. Why had he abandoned those memories so easily? Maybe because society didn't value them as a career. But was that reason enough to leave them behind? The monk continues. The unstable bridge is a choice that seems easy because it doesn't require reflection. It doesn't make you question your values. But the true path, Zack, that requires courage. Courage to be who you are, even when the world seems to have no space for it. Crossing the bridge isn't wrong if you're aware of the risks and are willing to deal with the consequences. But know that there's another way. Walking along the river, finding your own rhythm, and heading toward what brings you peace and meaning. Zack feels the monk's words like a relief. It's as if, instead of being surrounded by a maze of confusing choices, he can now see an open path where each step can be taken with awareness and balance. He doesn't need to choose the easy way, nor blindly follow others' expectations. He can walk carefully, listen to himself, and build a journey that honors both his values and the reality around him. What you seek, Zack, the monk continues, isn't just a career. It's a life that makes sense. A life where every day, even the hard days, brings you something that feeds your soul. And sometimes that means choosing a longer, harder path, but also a truer one. Zack feels an internal awakening, a new perspective forming within him. He realizes that the answer was never about choosing between security and passion, but about balancing the two. Walking carefully, without rush, accepting that purpose is not something you find all at once, but something you build, step by step. He looks at Monk Jin, and for the first time, he feels like he knows what he must do. It won't be an easy journey, but it will be his journey, guided by his own choices and his own pace. The sun finally disappears beyond the horizon, giving way to the soft glow of the moon now illuminating the stream, leaving a silver trail on the water. Zack takes a deep breath, feeling the calm of the night and, at the same time, the clarity beginning to emerge within him. He looks at Monk Jin, who remains silent, with a serene smile, as if he already knew Zack had found what he was searching for. Zack no longer needs words. Something inside him has changed. He stands, bowing in a sign of respect to the monk, and Jin simply responds with a slight nod, saying nothing. There is a sense of silent understanding between the two, an acceptance that the moment to leave has arrived, but also that the learning will remain forever. As he walks back down the stone path, Zack feels that the weight of his doubts has been replaced by something lighter. Not necessarily certainty, but a quiet determination to live his truth, to follow his own path. He understands that, no matter how hard the journey may be, every step he takes with care and intention will bring him closer to a meaningful life, aligned with his values and dreams. Reaching the temple's entrance, he looks back one last time. Monk Jin is there, standing by the stream, watching the waters flow, at peace with the present. Zack allows himself a smile, knowing that his search for purpose is still at the beginning, but now he has an internal compass, one he has learned to build himself, guided by the monk's questions and metaphors. From that day forward, Zack no longer worries about finding his purpose immediately. He understands that the crossing will be long, and that the bridge of life must be crossed with patience and awareness. He doesn't rush to cross it, nor does he look for shortcuts that would steer him away from his values. Instead, he chooses to walk along the river, appreciating each step, facing each obstacle as part of his growth. And so, Zack leaves Monk Jin's temple, under the soft light of the moon, with a new resolve: to live a life with purpose, no matter how long it takes to build that path. He now knows that the river of his life will keep flowing, winding around stones, finding its course, and that by walking carefully and mindfully, he will not only cross the bridge, he will discover the true meaning of being himself. The monk watches as Zack disappears into the distance, sensing that the young man will not leave with all the answers, but with something even more valuable: the right questions to guide him on his journey. And so the night continues, and the river keeps flowing, as it always has, following its own course, teaching that life is not a straight line, but a crossing where every step matters, and every choice brings us closer to who we truly are. Sometimes, the answer we seek isn't in chasing after a goal, but in looking within and following our own rhythm. Just like Zack, we all face moments of uncertainty, but it's in that journey that we find true direction. If this video made you reflect, leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and share it with someone who needs clarity and inspiration. Together, we can help more people find their path.